Hey, and welcome to the Izi Chinchay show. One of the hardest parts after the breakdown is just trying to live your life again, having this, you're redoing your identity, and there's this shame and guilt and fear factor that comes into play. I am so pumped that you tuned in. My goal with the show is to inspire and motivate you to the best of my abilities. I believe our world needs more leaders, and I believe that you, my listener, are a leader, and that you have the opportunity to impact your community and family by simply being you. I truly am here to try and serve and offer value to your life. And if you enjoy the show, it would mean the most to me if you could please either rate, subscribe, or share the show with anyone who you think might benefit from listening. Together, we can make this world a better place. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you love today's episode. All right, buckle up. We are getting real today. We're getting honest. We are getting deep. I just had a conversation with a friend, and we were talking about mental health, and we were talking about battles that she's faced, battles that I've faced, and overcoming that, and some mindset shifts that have been absolutely crucial in coming back from real mental health breakdowns. I'm not just saying like, I had a breakdown. I'm saying like month-long, like multiple months of breakdown and trying to come back and falling back in. And for those of you who don't know, I've been clinically diagnosed bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder, which I actually don't identify with any of those. I think I have like tendencies, and people could say that, yeah, it looks like that's a part of my life or a part of who I am. But no, I don't identify as bipolar, even though I've been clinically diagnosed bipolar. And for anyone who is dealing with some sort of mental health obstacle or diagnosis or something, there's such power in putting a name to something and saying, yes, I am bipolar, I am whatever. It gives it so much power and dominion over us. And dominion, I actually don't even know if that is a correct word right there. But anyways, we're going to continue on. But it gives power, and there's so much power in the tongue. And the more I fed into Izzy has bipolar, she's diagnosed bipolar disorder, she's going to suffer from that her entire life, the worse it got. But as I started to climb out of my mental health breakdown, which it was about 2 years of really bad chaos, and just breakdowns, feeling like I literally couldn't function, feeling like I couldn't hold down a job, feeling like I couldn't get through just even days sometimes, like they were so hard, like I literally couldn't function. I'm talking about that type of mental health breakdown. But the more that I started to shift and get out of that and get stronger and overcome certain things, the less I identified with that diagnosis. And, it kind of goes along with this parallel. If you argue for your limitations, they are surely yours. So if I would continue to argue, be like, well, I can't live a normal life because I'm bipolar, because I have bipolar disorder. I can't do that because my bipolar disorder. If I continue to do that, then that would become true, and that would ring true in my life. And I was just talking to a friend, and I said, you have to be careful what you're identifying with here. You're gonna have to be really careful what you identify with in your, mental health. And I would say for someone who's had a mental health breakdown, or, struggles with mental health and has had obstacles and stuff, one of the hardest parts is after the breakdown is coming out and being like, not coming out, just trying to live your life again, having this, you're redoing your identity. And there's this shame and guilt and fear factor that comes into play. Because especially if it was like your family that was helping you and pick up whoever you confided in during that time, there's this tendency to feel embarrassed and to feel shame about this thing that you just went through. Especially for me, knowing like I know what a strong human I am and was then. I was like, this is embarrassing. This is humiliating. But I was just talking to my friend, and I said, what we have to do is focus on the facts. And I go back to this this quote that actually scares the piss out of me. And it's, I am not what I think I am. I am not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. And like, that scares me. I hate that, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it's not even the reality. It's not even the reality, but I realized I was afraid of what these people were thinking, which I can't know what someone is thinking. I'm not actually afraid of what they're thinking. I'm afraid of what I think they're thinking of me. And I hate that. I was like, oh my gosh, but I was afraid people are thinking that maybe I am weak, or I'm unstable, or I look whatever it is. And so I started to realize I had that pattern. It was specifically with some of my family. I was like, I don't want them to view me this way. And then I just started to shift and be like, one, I don't care. Even if you do think that of me, why am I letting that hold me back from living the life that I want to live? And we do this in our life all over. We, like, on social media, that's the way that we live. We literally base everything off of, what are others going to think about this? Which you will never really know. You are never going to truly know what someone thinks of you or thinks about something you did. You will only know what you think they are thinking about you or the post that you made. You don't actually know the truth. So focus on the facts. Are you going to do something that you're proud of, that you want to do? That's what matters. That's the only thing that matters. Not the idea of thinking about what other people are thinking of you. But in mental health, if you're actually struggling with something, that can be something that comes up when you're coming out of it. Because you're like, then you're afraid, like, oh, now I'm going to be like going all in on this other, like, that's what I was afraid of. I was like, well, now I'm looking like a boss and like going to do all these other things, but this feels kind of awkward because I literally was like unable to function 2 months ago, you know? And that was really hard for me to come out of. But then I was like, wait, why do I care? Actually, that makes me even more awesome. Yeah, I was in that hole. Like now it rings strong of me. Like to be like, yeah, 2 years ago, I didn't think I was going to be able to live a normal life because I was dealing with these battles. But I didn't sink into that. I didn't sink in. And what I could have done is decided to be a victim of a mental health breakdown and of bipolar disorder for the rest of my life. That's what I could have done. And I don't think anyone would judge me for it, actually. I don't think anyone would judge me. I think it would just been like, oh, yep. And then that would have been what I had. No, but instead I battled it out and I became determined to find a solution. I'll never forget this day. It was just one day I had the worst breakdown. Like, I was going through it so bad. I felt like I couldn't function. I feel myself getting emotional talking about this. Like, I couldn't get up. I physically couldn't get up. And I literally said, I was like, I used to be bipolar. I used to have bipolar disorder. Like, I actually am going to cry talking about that right now because I feel like that now. I feel like, yeah, I used to, but I don't anymore. And I didn't think I was going to cry right now. But apparently that got me. Just because I realized, like, that was about 3 years ago. Or maybe about 4 years ago I said that. Yeah, it was 4 years ago. I was like, I was 20. I was like, I used to be bipolar. Not anymore. And I'm not, because I was literally already projecting into the future that I would be saying what I'm saying right now. And oh my gosh, I'm like really crying over this because it's hitting me. And that was 4 years ago. I was like, yeah, I used to be bipolar. And I was like, when I was at my lowest, like I almost couldn't like get through a day. Like, it was so painful. It was so painful. And I'm so proud of myself and I'm so happy, but like, that's why I also feel passionate to talk about this. You have to get determined. You have to get determined. If you suffer from a mental health disorder, you have to get determined to not let that rule the rest of your life. It is not going to rule the rest of your life, because if you don't get determined, it will. And you will be a victim of it your entire life. And it's no way to live. It's no way to live. If you suffer from depression, OCD, bipolar disorder, whatever it is, you got to get determined to be like, this is a phase. I don't care how many years it takes me. I will get out of this. I will get out of this. And that looks different for everyone. But for me, it was completely getting off medication and being able to live my life well and be happy and not not be on medication. Like that was like the ultimate thing for me, and being able to like live a good life. And I do now, and I'm the happiest I've ever been now. But because I got determined to not allow myself to become a victim of bipolar disorder. I had to really become determined, because let me tell you, once you get diagnosed with something, it gives you this golden ticket to instantly have people have understanding for you, have compassion for you, to get away with poor behavior. It's dangerous. It is so dangerous. It is a golden ticket to deny yourself of your potential. If you become a victim to your mental health disorder, it is the golden ticket, an excuse, a way out to never have to go and live up and soar to your potential. That's what it is. And I know what it's like to be there. I'm not someone who's coming in like, oh, people with da-da-da, you should know. I know it's real. And I'm not saying this is a fix in a month or 6 months. It took me years. This took years, and it was hard, and it was difficult, and it was the most humbling process I have ever gone through in my life. It made me question everything about myself. My ego was so damaged. My ego was like, oh my gosh, we can't do anything. And then your ego, then in that space, then your ego tries to protect you and be like, okay, now let's just play the victim, because at least I can survive in this in my victimhood. Because then your ego is like, at least we're going to be comfortable there. And you have to be like, no, I'm not doing that. I am going to get better. I am going to get better. I am going to get through this. And I did that. And I am not saying that I don't still battle with highs and lows. That is actually, it's not even that I battle with it. I've learned to live with it, and I've learned to function in a way that makes sense for me. I still deal with highs and lows, and there are other things that I deal with. But I'm a happy person. I have a great life because I'm not a victim to it. And I want to remind you, you have a choice. We always have a choice, and it's this: I'm going to be a victim or I'm going to be a victor, and that's it. And let me tell you, being a victim is not a good way to live your life, because you don't have control. You don't have say. But when you come in, this is the other piece I realized too. When you come into your own life and you say, I am the only one who is going to save me. I am the only one who's going to get me out of this situation. I am the only one. No one is going to save me. No doctor, no therapist, no family member. It's me. I have to do the work. Now, I'm not saying that you can't rely on those other things, and those things are going to be a part of the puzzle, but ultimately it's you. You're going to have to buckle down and say, I am not living this way anymore. I am not going to live this way for the rest of my life, whatever it is. I mean, this can be like things outside of mental health. It could be your weight, right? It could be being in toxic relationships, but you have to decide. No one is going to save you. I had to decide that financially for myself. I had to be like, no, I'm not going to, like, it's only me. I'm not winning the lottery tomorrow. The only way that I'm going to become a millionaire is by becoming a millionaire, is being a millionaire, by becoming the person that is a millionaire. That is the only way. No one's saving me. No one's just giving me the money. No one's giving me the job, building me the business, giving me the opportunity. It's me. It's me. I have to do it. And I had to learn that. And holy crap, I'm realizing this as I'm saying that. I had to learn that in my mental health and then apply all those exact same skills to business. Because in life, financially, we get into victimhood. We're like, oh, so can someone give me the handout? Give me the discount. Pay for the thing. Do what, like, it's not going to happen. And maybe you'll get it for a second. You'll get the help. But ultimately, if you want to change the way you're living, you want to change your finances, you want to change, like, you have to decide that no one is coming to save you. No one is bailing you out. It's got to be you. And I learned all those skills battling bipolar disorder. I learned all those skills. I was like, oh my gosh, it's got to be me, and I got to make the choice, and then I got to do all the little tiny annoying things every single day, all the time, and I got to try stuff that doesn't work, and then I got to try something else that doesn't work, and then I got to try something that kind of works, and I got to go to a new therapist. Like, these are all the things, and all that is business. That's like what you have to do in business and being an entrepreneur. You're like, oh, I try this thing. It didn't work. Okay, what's this other thing? Okay, it kind of worked. Oh, that was a waste of $4,000. This was a waste of $10,000. Like, that's how it works. And you try and you try and you try, but you stop looking for everyone else to come and save you, to come and give you the answer, give you the paycheck, give you the job, because no one's going to do it. It's got to be you. You have to create it. And you're called to create it. And you're going to have obstacles, and every single person that has an obstacle feels like it's only them who's facing it. I felt like no one else, and it's true because we're all designed and been made differently, but I felt like no one else had struggled with bipolar the way I had, and no one had been like me, and so I was different, and no, it doesn't matter whether I am or not, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's why no one else can pull you out of it, because it is unique to you and it feels unique to you. So you're the only one who's going to be able to figure out how to get yourself out of it. And I know people who have different, mental battles, and there are people who struggle with anxiety, big time, constant anxiety. Dude, you got to take some ownership. You've now conditioned your body, and I'm not saying I'm sorry, and I feel for you, and that's horrible, but you have conditioned your body. You've created a pattern to live in a catering way to your anxiety. You've literally created a pattern and a system that's like, I live with anxiety all the time. I function, I have to, anxiety. And then you're perpetuating it. But have you said, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get absolutely determined. I'm going to read every single book. I'm going to do every single study. I'm going to do the meditation. How many of us are actually meditating? We know the effects of meditation are insane for mental health. I don't do it enough. So I can't be out here like, oh, I got to do da. No, did I meditate? Did I drink the water? Like, there are so many things that we're not doing to take care of ourselves. And we're like, oh, but I still do suffer from anxiety and blah, blah, blah. And all. It's because you're being a victim. And I'm sorry, and this sounds harsh, but you got to dig deep. You got to dig deep and decide, do you want to live the rest of your life being a victim to your mental health, or you do want to decide to get determined, dig your heels in, use all your resources, get inspired, and decide to change your life? Because it's the rest of your life, man. If you've been dealing with anxiety or bipolar, whatever it is, I know it's not going to go away. It will not go away. You have to do the work. And you have to become so determined, because every time you start spiraling, you're going to want to quit. You're going to want to give in to the panic attacks, right? That was a big part of it for me. I'd want to give in to the panic. I feel my whole body, it's rising. I'm going to start screaming and crying hysterically. I felt it coming up. I wanted to give into it, but this one day, finally, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I am not doing that. I don't deserve that. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve to suffer this way. I don't deserve this. I deserve better. I deserve peace. I deserve happiness. And I will fight for it. I will fight for it. I will fight for it in my breath and in my thoughts. And I will breathe deeply, and I will express gratitude. And so when I would be in this space of about to have this huge panic attack, and it would lead to like hysterical screaming and crying and stuff, I would say these 3 things to myself. I would say, I'm never tired. I never give up. And I'm grateful. And each time I would take a really deep breath. And then I'd push through and be like, can I get through 3 more times of saying this without losing my mind and scratching myself or whatever it is? I'm being really, really honest right now, because I feel someone needs to hear this. This is the truth. This is the raw truth. That's what I was going through. And I would say, can I take 3 more breaths and say those 3 things? I'm never tired. I never quit. And I'm grateful. Can I say that 3 more times without losing my shit? Yes, I can. And then I do it again. And then I do it again. And then I do it again. And then next thing you know, I made it out alive. I made it out alive. I made it through that thing. And I'm being very specific in what I'm telling you, because I know someone wants to be like, well, you didn't have it as bad. You didn't have it like that, so you don't get it. No, I do. And I'm toning it down. I do. You got to make a decision for yourself to change your life. Stop living in fear. Stop living in anxiety. Stop living with panic attacks. I'm not saying those things won't come up and you'll have them, but you got to get in the game. You got to start fighting the fight. You got to start to win, man. You're losing all day right now. You're losing that fight, and I know how it feels. And then you think that that's just how the game is played, that you constantly lose. It doesn't have to be that way. You can fight it out. You can fight it out, and you can change your life, and I want you to so badly. So badly. I am here for you. Change your life. Get in the game. Start fighting it out. Do the things that you know you need to be doing. Do the meditation. Do the deep breaths. Eat the healthy things. I love you. I'm here for you. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, I would greatly appreciate if you could share this episode with 5 people you think could benefit from the show. Also, please feel free to connect with me on Instagram at Izi Chinchay or my website at izichinchay.com. Thank you so much for being you. Keep being a leader and making this world a better place.